Today I'm going to do the review of the Shell Recharge 40 amp charge station portable. It's been a while. I've been meaning to do this for some time, and it's been about 2.5–3 months, which is good because I've actually had some time to use it, so I can actually give you a good in-depth review. The unit comes in a good carry case. It's pretty decent. It's solid. It's sturdy. The only my only negative to it is just it's trying to pack that all in there. And that little box is just the hardest part. But we'll get into more detail here in a few moments and start talking about setup and plugging it in and how to use the charge controller. I've opened up the case to show you what's inside. This is not how it comes. It actually comes nice and neat and everything all in there, but it's really hard to put back that way. So this is currently how it is right now. It actually comes with the charge controller and the converter to where you can plug in a normal 110, and it's got these little baggies on it to prevent scratches on the unit and everything to keep it looking nice. So here is the converter, the 1450 to 110. Obviously plugging this in is going to limit your amperage on how much you can use on the charge controller down to about, I think, 12 amps. With the unit, though, you can adjust your amperage inside there, but if it knows it's in that plug, it's not going to allow you to do that. So, and then these buttons here will show you how to go through that once we plug it all in. And then up in here you have your manuals and everything. Next part of this video, I'm going to have it all set up on the wall outside and go through everything that had to be done to get to that point and show you it plugged into the vehicle. So right here is the unit, getting ready to mount it. What I did here was on the wall is just put a little screw up here just to kind of mount it right here. What I want to do is, there's on the back here, you can see there's like a little mount point right here. So just sit it right here and then slide it down into place, and then I go in to plug it into here and plug it into the receptacle here. In the next part of the video, I'm going to show you it all plugged in here. As you can see here, I've got everything plugged in. Right here's your 1450 50 amp plug. I've got a couple locks in there, TSA locks you can use, or smaller locks, because you can lock this up and you can actually lock it up on the car at the actual connector. But you want to make sure that you have that installed. Currently the car I have obviously is a 2017 Chevy Bolt, so that car will only go to 32 amps. Right here is it plugged in. Obviously it's LED, so everything's out of sync, but you can kind of see as it's flipping through there on your bottom left where it says charging. The left shows how much kilowatt hours is going into your battery. On the right it shows how much was put in. The car was topped off already, so this is only showing 0.5 kilowatt hours because that's all it would take. On the left there above that you'll see 0 amps and 40 amps. 40 amps is the max. That's the setting you got it set to, because I found that if I put it at 32, it only gives me 30 on the charging circuit to the car, which the car will take up to 32. So I moved it to 40 just so that I know that I would get the full 32 amps, because the car will only allow 32 amps in. So it'll show 32 amps when it's on full charging status. The upper left, you'll see a temperature gauge, says 80 Fahrenheit right now. What that's doing right now is saying that that's currently the temperature of the unit. That's the temperature of the unit circuitry and everything. It checks itself. And off to the top right, it shows how long it's been plugged in, 31 minutes and 25 seconds right now, and how much voltage it is getting from the actual power grid, which is 241 volts. This is the connector for the car. It has a cover to block it off from the elements here when you got it not in use, if you hang it up outside. Obviously seen here, you plug it in into the circuit, it locks into place. On the side here you can see that you can put in there, you can put in a little TSA lock or something similar to secure it so nobody can just grab it and take it out. One of the reasons I purchased the Shell Recharge one is because I was looking online for a charge controller that was portable and at the same time could handle the elements outside, as I don't have a garage. So the main unit is, which is right here, this unit right here is rated with an operating temperature of -22 to 122 degrees Fahrenheit. On both models, the 32 amp and the 40 amp model, they're IP66 rated on the main unit and the charging gun itself. Now, it also has some connections inside it, which I wanted to point out as well. It does have some protections, almost like a GFCI. When it detects water or some kind of thing going on, it'll actually stop the actual charge. I only found this out up front because my first unit I had when I purchased it, and I want to point this out, really, it's a big thing too, about the company that actually makes these for Shell. Their tech support is awesome. Just want to point that out. There's a person there named Bonita, which has been really helpful on taking care of the issue. When I first called, the first time I put the charge in onto the car, it had stopped and gave a fault stating that something was wrong, that it was detecting, some kind of backfeed in the voltage and everything. So that particular first unit that I purchased had a manufacturer defect in it. Not a big deal, it's going to happen sometimes. So called them up, or I hit them up on email and everything and sent it back, and they were immediately saying, hey, this might be the problem, can you check this? I said, well, I've tried it in a couple different circuits. I've plugged it in on the wall, I've plugged it in the 15 amp circuit receptacle, and I'm getting the same thing. And all of my I have another charger that comes with the car that does not have that issue at all with these kind of plugins, So they turned around and just immediately shipped me a new one. And once I got the new one, I shipped the other one back, and haven't had a problem since. So they were very excellent about their tech support. Didn't even question it. They had the order number on Amazon, because this is only sold through Amazon that I can tell so far. There's the model, which is the SEV32-01 and the SEV-40-01. This one's a 40-01 because I wanted to future-proof myself, as this was going to be the Chevy Bolt's my interim car into what I'm doing in the EV world here. So the next car is either going to be a Tesla Cybertruck or an F-150 Lightning. I'm still deciding at this point, but I want to be able to have that ability to use a 40 amp portable as well and have that with me. Eventually, obviously, all these newer car companies that are coming out with EVs right now are saying, hey, let's just put in a class 2 and have that installed as part of your purchase as well. So, Chevrolet is doing it, GMC, Ford's starting to do it. They got their own 80 amp thing for the Ford Lightning, which will actually allow you to backfeed. There's a system that allows you to backfeed the house and actually power the house for up to 7 days on the F-150. But I want to have something that's actually portable that I can take with me as well. And this unit would give me that ability as well. So no matter what I get or put on the house, this unit will still have its place to be able to be portable in case you get, stranded. I just want to point out, this gauge, this cord is just massive. It's heavy. I mean, the whole unit definitely can hold this kind of charge and everything. And it's about, by the time I think it's done, it's like 20 or 30 pounds for this unit. I think it's like 20 pounds if I'm not mistaken. But it's definitely very sturdy. It's very good, good quality. It just feels like it's not like a piece of junk. It's really a high quality grade. They're very responsive and quick, and they give feedback and email really fast. They got good good support. The people there are obviously intelligent. They know what the errors are, and they come back to you quickly. So it's very good company. Like I said, this is a very sturdy unit. Nice looking, appealing compared to the other ones. They're just bland gray and black, and they just feel chintzy to the touch. I've had my hands on some of them, and just I wanted something that was like strong, meaty, and like it was gonna last. So this unit does not feel cheap by any means, and it's it's roughly around, I think, $500 to $600 depending on what you find it on Amazon. But if you look it up, you want to look up the SEV-40-01 for the 40 amp or the SEV-32-01 for the 32 amp. But if you look at it on Amazon where they sell it, you're just going to look up Shell EV charging, and it should pop up for you. And I'll put some links in the actual YouTube video here as well. Just want to quickly go over cost as well, just to kind of give you an idea on how much money I'm saving between taking my electric vehicle to and from work, as opposed to my minivan. The minivan gets 28 miles per gallon highway, so with an average of about 26 miles getting to and from work per gallon. So you break it down with, I'm going to break it down with current gas prices is $3.19 a gallon for gasoline. So at 26 miles per gallon, I'm going 134 miles to and from work every day. So at 134 miles to and from work every day, it takes about 5.15 gallons, doing the math here. At $3.19 a gallon, we're getting $16.44 to go to and from work every day in this. In this, we get, by having this charger, instead of using a fast charger at a facility, or going to a fast charge station somewhere, you know, at a store or somewhere around there that has one, which costs about 34 cents a mile, but doing it from home, having this particular charger plugged in, it is on off-peak times, it's 10 cents per kilowatt. So I normally run it on off-peak times, because on peak times it's 15 cents a kilowatt. You know, I'm saving 5 cents if I do it at night. So most of my charging happens in the evening, and that breaks it down to, at 134 miles, cost me 30.45 kilowatts. So a little over, you know, almost 30.5 kilowatts on average to go to and from work with an average of 4.4 miles per kilowatt. So that's 4.4 miles per kilowatt at 134 miles to and from work. So that's a round trip. So that cost breakdown goes into, at 10 cents a kilowatt hour, it comes out to about $3.04 per day, as opposed to $16.44 per day. So it's a drastic difference driving an electric vehicle. Plus the maintenance costs on the van costs a lot more too, because you're changing oil and everything like that on a regular basis with that much mileage. With the EV, it's just a degradation of the battery, which is still yet to be determined in the EV market. A lot of people haven't really found real degradation values, because the lithium-ion batteries seem to hold up really well. So I just wanted to bring that into perspective on cost. I wanted to point out how to change the settings as well on here. You can actually do, by pressing the button here and holding it down, you'll put it into a change mode. You'll see it start blinking on the top right here where it says 32 amp. You can change that, hold it down until it starts blinking. You can hit it and it goes to 40. You can go down to 12 amp, 16 amp. So obviously you want to set those when you have different types of plugs, or you're somewhere else, or you know that your car is rated for a certain amount. But 12 amp is a safe place to put it if you're running on a 15 amp receptacle, which is a typical outlet. You can go to 16 if you know that you're on a 20 amp circuit, 24 if you're on a 30 amp circuit, 32 if you're on a 40 amp circuit, and 50 if you're on a 40 if you're on a 50 amp circuit. So, you know, just so you know that it's safe at that point. Put mine on a 40 because I know that my car will limit only to 32, so I'm not worried about not having a 50 amp circuit. I have a 40 amp circuit, but the car will not allow more than 32 amps, so if it pops a breaker at 40 amps, there's something wrong, so we're good there. Down here you can also set a delay on when you want to start it. So you say, hey, I want to wait an hour, I want to wait 2 hours, I want it 3 hours before it starts. You can go all the way up to, I believe, you can just keep going. So you can just say, hey, I don't want this to start for 30 hours, you know, and at that point, it will not, you know, it will not charge for up to 30 hours, and then once that 30-hour mark hits, it'll start charging your car. So it's kind of like a delayed charge circuit. So you can set that to what, you know, whatever you choose to have it at. But if it's, you know, mine didn't stay because it's not plugged in right now. I have it actually unplugged from the vehicle at the moment. So just wanted to point that out as well on there. That's a lot of the neat features that you can make sure that you set, so you have a choice. Some of the units that you buy online, they don't have a choice on what you set them to, and it's all or nothing. It's the amperage that it is or not, you know. Some of the more sophisticated ones, like this one, you know, actually have that, and this one, for the cost of what this costs, it's definitely up on the high end of features without the cost of the high end, you know, amount that, you know, would charge for a higher end type unit.